The hospitality industry's sounds of silence. One of my favorite English songs is Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. And here I am relating how the hospitality industry practices this sounds of silence for the benefit of the guest and for those employed. Now, this is not the silence that you hear in the corridor or in the lobby. No, this is not that austere silence. This is a beautiful silence. And the hospitality industry is acknowledged as the father of the service industry. And I'm very proud to be a member of the hospitality industry. We've been exemplars and pioneers for many things. Number one, pioneers as being the father of the industry for many practices for which the service industry does now. It started from us. And an exemplar of looking at fear in the eye and go about your responsibility, not duty. I mean, I'm being very clear. Go about your responsibility of taking care about of the guest. I mean, keeping their welfare first, and then your welfare. As the world took notice during the terrorist attack on Bombay at the Taj Mahal, Bombay, that's when the world came to know about how the hotel industry and the staff are, what stuff they're made of. Now, the welfare of the guest is first, then the welfare of my team members next, and then my welfare. The last one is my welfare. Sounds familiar, right? Yes, it is exactly paraphrased from the Indian Army concept of the welfare of the country comes first, etc., etc. And then, but how did this come into our industry? How did we get this in our Zahen, our DNA, our genes? Because the earliest managers were retired military managers, ideally after World War II, somewhere there. So that accent on grooming, punctuality, handing over shift, taking over shift, discipline, and how to converse with people, etc., came in. And the most important, don't leave your post unattended. And that's what the Taj people did. They did not leave their post, whatever be the circumstances, as was taught to them. Remember, they were not trained people, trained to face odds like terrorist attack. They were just ordinary people like you and I. But here's another beautiful concept, sounds of silence that the hospitality industry practices, which I bring to your notice. Nothing gives me more delight than putting the spotlight on three beautiful people, or I would say three beautiful organizations that sing this sounds of silence in their daily operations for the benefit of the employed or the employees and for the benefit of the guest or customers. Number one, Garamchai in Bombay, which is an enterprise of my IHM Ahmedabad alumni and junior Jineshnarsana. He employs about his work has impacted about more than 50 families in Bombay. What does he do? He only employs specially challenged people, be it physically challenged people or the hearing and speech impaired people, to work facility management in about 20, 30 offices in Bombay. He started in about 2011, this work, doing very well. And they serve about 25,000 cups of tea. And the tea is prepared by those who are physically impaired, maybe in the kitchens, and served by those who are speech impaired and hearing impaired. Sounds of silence, better than Simon Garfunkel. The second, echoesrestaurantbodakdevahmedabad in Ahmedabad, employs only people with great success, people who are challenged physically or otherwise. Sounds of silence plays there also. And how do they go about it? Is you find out. You go there, experience it, you'll know. You'll never go to any other restaurant. I promise you. And if you ever have a garam chai in Bombay, I promise you, you'll never ever order from another chai from anywhere else. You'll want to have garam chai people serving you in your office, and the garam chai people doing facilities management in your office in Bombay. Sounds of silence. In a hotel, number third is in a hotel lobby, normally you see the guests talking to the reception staff and the conversation flowing. But what do you think of a hotel where the guests are talking to the reception staff, but the reception staff are communicating non-verbally with the guest and beautifully too? Sound of silence. Lemontree Hotels, since 2006-7, in 16 cities across India, are doing this work beautifully, employing even physically, even challenged people with autism, which takes some, which is something rare to employ a person with autism in a guest, in a human interactive and industry. But maybe he or she would be trained properly, coached very well. And please understand that a guest is a human being, and the staff there have, when I have checked into Lemon Tree, and nothing gives me more pleasure than talking about it. I'm disabled myself. When I checked in, the staff handed me over a card saying, I am hearing impaired. You can write it for me, or you can tell me. It's a cue card. You can just have to pick up the cue card and show it to him. Check in, yes. So then he asks you a name. You show your name to him. Done. And you enjoy that experience. It's much more better than that. Usually go to the reception staff and say, my name is MS Neelkantan, and I like to have a booking in name. And then they check the stuff. But this is so beautiful. Sound of silence. And I regret I am not a teacher anymore in any hotel management college. Because normally in the first year, when students join, one of the first chapters is Introduction to the Hospitality Industry, the hotel industry in India. We start off with the big three. The Taj being the first, 1903 in Bombay. Then the Oberoi for being the finest in standards of excellence with their OSM. And the ITC for their group of hotels, for their accent on regional cuisines. And they're being the pioneer across the world for green energy, for reusing, for everything. But today, if I was teaching in the hotel management colleges, I would put Lemon Tree first and say, this is the organization that should be ranked number one. I would talk about this organization number one. Why? Because they do this beautiful practice with great success. Embrace the disabled to embrace and discover your ability. Thank you. Bye-bye.